Hi, I'm Lisa Cain. I woke up to my mother's tenuous relationship with the truth when she crashed a sailboat. I was 15 years old, and I got an internship at a sailing school. This was in City Island, the Bronx. I had learned how to sail earlier than that when I was a kid in Boston. I don't know if you know about the sailing program on the Charles River, but I sailed there every summer, and I loved sailing. And when we moved to New Rochelle, New York, I didn't have a place to sail, so I found this wonderful sailing school that gave me this internship. And I would ride my bike down there, and I would mow the lawn or paint a fence, and they gave me free hours to sail for the time I would work. It was wonderful. My mother also decided at that point to learn how to sail as well. So she took a class there, and then one day I took her out on one of my free hours so she could practice. And it was a beautiful day. The sun was shining, the wind was perfect. It was just wonderful on Long Island Sound that day. We went out, we took food, we had fun, and then in the end, my mom decided she wanted to try this maneuver, which is where you pull the boat to a buoy and you stop it. Now, if you know anything about sailing, when you're under sail, you don't have any brakes, okay? You have to actually pull the boat to a stop by forcing it into the wind, and that's the only way to stop it. And it's actually kind of difficult, especially to do it at a point. So my mom aimed at the buoy, blew by it, and slammed into another boat. Bam! Now, you know anything about boats, big metal sound, shaking, stays, bam! Huge sound. I ran, I scurried to the back of the boat. I got back there, I pulled the boat around, I popped it on the buoy, and then we, dropped the sails, got going, and my mom said, "We are not going to say anything about this." And I thought, okay, this is not right. I said, "Mom, we probably should tell, we are not going to say anything about this." So she was my hero. She's my mother. And at that point in my life, she was a goddess to me. So I listened and I said, okay. And then Steve, the son of the owner, came and picked us up in a launch. That's how it worked. You pick up in a launch and you go back to the dock, piled our stuff in. We got to the dock. We walked away with our stuff up to the car to put the stuff in the trunk. And he showed up with the owner of the sailing school, which was his father, Carl. And he said, "You think you're going to leave here without telling me about that?" My stomach just dropped because I knew by the way they were looking at me that they were incredibly disappointed and frustrated. My mother said nothing. She said nothing. And Steve took us back out in the launch, back out to the boat. We looked at the bow, and there was a huge chunk out of it. Now, this was a practice boat. This is a sailing school, so that had happened before, but still, it was something, a chunk. And I learned two things from this. The first is not telling the truth has consequences, because the next day, I rode my bike to go work there, and they didn't have anything for me to do. So the immediate consequence was I lost my chance to sail that summer and subsequent summers on Long Island Sound. The second thing was when I saw those two people look at us and look at my mother, I saw her through their eyes. I saw the disappointment toward them, toward her. And I realized that I didn't like her, and that this thin veneer she would put over things when things were challenging, and this desire not to deal with difficult things and just pretend it's not happening, that was not me. I wanted to be different. I'm okay with the truth. I'm okay when things are challenging. I wanted to deal with truths. And I wish I could tell you all right now that she bought me a sailboat, and like at the end of a great sitcom, everybody giggled and it was all just about embarrassing moments, but that wouldn't be the truth.